Hello, Cristian video. Today we're gonna take a look at the other Necrozma form, and I got insanely lucky. Look at that background from it, which is a very special background if you know what I mean. But also we're going to have another 100% Necrozma form here, and this is not the same as before. I actually got two 100% Necrozmas today, one from trading and one from a raid, which is kind of mad. And also the background that you just saw in the beginning there is insanely special and very difficult to get. Basically, you're going to have, you already very likely played the Go Fest at this point of time anyway, you have a special research where you're going to get a Solgaleo or Lunala, depending on what you pick, with a special background. And then you have to fuse it with a Necrozma with a special background, which you can get from just catching right now. And to get this, it is quite ridiculously rare because you don't really get a lot of those backgrounds on like Necrozma in general. Getting 100 from it then as well is going to be quite difficult. And as you can see here, we have now a 100 one with a very cool, unique background because you need both of them to have this special one which you saw in the beginning. But anyway, this is not what we're going to talk about today here. We're going to talk about how good Necrozma is in this form, because now I was able to test it out for myself. I was able to test it out for 2.5 sets basically, and there was a clear winner for sure. Like, there was a clear winner. The Necrozma here with this form is better. Like, it is better. I can say nothing else other than that this Necrozma is just way better than the other Necrozma form with Lunala fused. But it is still completely different at the same time, because this Necrozma here is going to have way more bulk and is a little bit more consistent, while the other Necrozma is just cooler as a closer. Anyway, we want to see here the Zygarde against us in the lead on the second battle, and we're gonna see already why this Necrozma form is so much cooler or like better than the other one. And if you can only get one, I definitely would recommend you get this one. It also wins the mirror matchup, by the way, against the other Necrozma form, which is kind of not really a mirror matchup with that, but definitely going to win the matchup against the Lunala fused variant of Necrozma. It's always so difficult to talk about all the different forms of it, but so it definitely has a huge benefit in this already, but also just the general typing is so nice. Having the steel typing in the current meta is so important. Like, having the steel typing and the steel type coverage even is so important, because basically what this Pokemon can do, what kinda none other Pokemon can do other than like Metagross, I guess, is to give out steel type damage. Like, yes, you're going to have Iron Head on that Dialga, yes, you're going to have like Bullet, Punch plus Media Mesh on that Metagross, but it's quite difficult to find a good Pokemon that has also steel type coverage, and so it's quite important for the current meta. There are quite a lot of Fairy type Pokemon around, there are quite a lot of Dragon type Pokemon around, and so having a Steel typing is just so nice. And here, having the fast move of Shadow Claw is, of course, the best fast move in the game, at least currently. Maybe that's going to change next season, but we have to see if Niantic is going to do something mad, which I think they have to do. I feel like they definitely have to do quite some mad stuff for the new season. But as you can see here, we're going to have the mirror against the opponent's Necrozma form, which is going to end up in us losing the CMP tie here. They're going to let the move go through as far as I remember, and they do. And so we're going to be able to knock them out, but they're going to have a Giratina in the back, and honestly, I misplayed this quite a bit. I should have not went for the charge move here, I should have just went straight into my own Palkia. I have two great answers for this Pokemon. Why did I not swap out? I have no idea. Very silly misplay by me here, for sure. Could have played this way better. And they're going to have their own Palkia in the back, which is usually kind of fine, but we don't have Spatial Rent. While we have a Shando here, we don't have Spatial Rent, which hopefully we're going to be able to learn somewhere around, like maybe next year somewhere, hopefully. Niantic, please give me the option to get this move. I feel like a lot of people are really wanting to have their Dialga origin form or Palkia origin form with the actual correct move, which, yeah, currently is not, like, we're not able to get this one through Elite Team, which is kind of silly. Anyway, we're going to still be not in a spot where we're going to lose directly, but sadly we are not able to catch the move, and now we're going to be in a spot where we're going to lose directly, because they can just go for the Shadow Ball, knock me out, and that's going to be a good game. Definitely should have won this battle. Anyway, we're going to have a great matchup here in the lead. We're going to have the Mewtwo against us. Side Strike being double resist is kind of great, but of course they're going to have now the option to go for the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball is going to do super effective damage, so we rather use a shield here. We are not very bulky, but we do still super effective fast move damage against the opponent, which is going to allow us to also bait or whatever in the back. And I think the lag here that I saw was also on the game's part. The game was quite laggy today, I have to say that. Like, I cannot really say anything other than this. Like, the game was quite difficult to play sometimes, just like frame drops. But I feel like it's still kind of more consistent nowadays than it was before. But yeah, we're going to be able to go ahead and go for another charge move here. The Dark Bolts is coming through, going to knock them out. And let's see what is coming in next. It is going to be the own Necrozma. This is going to be quite an interesting one, because we're kind of forced to go ahead and go into our Palkia now. Palkia going to have the neutral damage of Awkward here, at least, and still doing quite some nice damage with the Dragon Breath as well. It is going to be here the Awkward Tail connecting and doing a lot of damage as a Dark Pulse or Outrage is also something that they can run. I saw some people running Outrage on Necrozma, which is also a cool tech move, because Outrage is going to allow you to beat something like a Palkia really easily, because you can just one-shot it, or you can go ahead and hit harder against something like the Zygarde, which is kind of cool. So this Pokemon with Outrage does make a lot of sense as well. I make a huge mistake here. I don't know why I went to this Pokemon. Like, this was silly again. I would have been able to win the battle if I just played better. Should have just went straight into my Necrozma, because I would have been able to force the knockout there anyway. Anyway, the next opponent just, I guess, didn't really enjoy it to battle against the Necrozma as well and just forfeit, so we can move on to the next opponent, which is going to have the worst possible lead here, which is going to be that Ho-Oh. We have some more lag here with our Palkia, which is lovely, as we can go for an Awkward Tail against the opponent's Dialga. We are trying our best to get the shield, which is great. We can still go for another charge move, as this is going to only do a little bit of damage. I know it's an Awkward Tail, but at least we're going to still be able to get a shield advantage and a lot of damage onto the opponent, as we're going to be able to take a move here on our Necrozma. I hope that this is going to be a bait, and it is going to be a bait, and so it barely does any damage, and with that, we should be able to just go for the full farm down after using one shield here onto that Draco Meteor, which is also interesting that they run Draco Meteor. I guess they're in the same boat as I am with my Palkia. In comes the Ho-Oh. Ho-Oh is gonna have to take a Rock Slide now. They actually did not even go for the CMP tire, which I was kind of surprised about, and so they're quite low. I can use a shield here, because whatever this in the back, we can hopefully go for like the Icy Wind against. And yes, it's going to be a Zekrom. It was a classic Ho-Oh double Dragon line, which you see quite often in the Open Master League. And Icy Wind is going to drop the opponent's attack here, allowing us to go for another one, but they are forced to go for either a Wild Charge or a Fusion Bolt in order to knock me out. But they decide to go for a Crunch, which is not enough, and this is sealing the deal here. This is going to be a good game, as he can just go for that Dark Pulse and one more Dark Pulse afterwards. Is all it takes to knock them out, and that is going to be it for this one good game to the opponent. So let's take a look at the next one. We're going to encounter Necrozma against the Palkia. Palkia is going to definitely do a neutral damage with that Awkward Tail, but resist the damage with anything else. So we're going to be in a very solid spot, as we only do neutral damage with both the Dark Pulse as well as our Shadow Claw. We can take a hit from the opponent as well, but we can also try to catch an Awkward Tail onto our own Palkia, which can double resist that hit. And so we're in a very good spot as I swap out into their own Necrozma, so they can return the favor here, as we were able to catch a move. They are now going to go up into the matchup that we were in before as well, but in the other way around. But here they are running Outrage, which is going to be quite ridiculous, which I did not expect here at this point. Sure, went for a charge move first, because this Dark Pulse here is actually going to be enough to knock them out, so it doesn't actually matter. They go into their Solgaleo that they have lurking in the back, and that is not going to be a great matchup. Solgaleo backline together with that Necrozma is quite a mad one. I don't really want to use my Rex Alchemy on Solgaleo, but like if you have done this in the past, like it's definitely a Pokemon that you kind of want to run for sure, as we are going to be able to go ahead and go for another Icy Wind here against the opponent. This is going to drop the attack as we try to reach another one. We have to hope that we can kind of somehow, yeah, still win this battle, but I don't think it's going to be really easy, as the opponent can go for an Awkward Tail here, and we kind of have to rely on our other Pokemon, as he can still try to go for an Icy Wind. This is going to be able to just knock them out. We can swap out, and the Necrozma is sadly going to be too much for us. So let's take a look here. The next one, we're going to have the Landorus swapping in against us, which is great for our Everluck, but because of the lag a little bit as well, we were not able to swap in fast enough, which is quite annoying, because as you're gonna see here, we're gonna get the attack drop onto us, and also we are gonna see the Icy Wind getting the shield here against the opponent, which is totally fine, but they might be able to outspeed me into the next one. We just had to use a shield here. We're still going to be in a solid spot as I can still outspeed them with the Icy Wind. Let's see if they're going to let the move go through or not. It is going to be quite crucial on how the game is going to go, but they let the move go through, and so we can align ourselves. Alignment is quite key here, as we can even get another Icy Wind off. Of course, we're double debuffed, I think, at this point, but we're gonna be able to still chunk away a little bit of the opponent's health here, as we can go back into our Necrozma. They swap out into the Evoltal, and we have a great matchup here. Honestly, like, the lag was still quite mad today. We're gonna be able to let the move go through. It's going to be a Dark Pulse, and I can go for another Awkward Heal here. This Awkward Heal is gonna put them hopefully into a range where I can farm them all the way down with even my Palkia, but sadly that's not going to work out yet because they go for a charge move. I still should be able to fully farm them down here and get up to that Draco Meteor. It's gonna be quite a close one, but yes, we can get there, and also we're still going to be able to resist anything other than Thunder on our Necrozma, and this is just the great thing about the typing, just Steel type in general. Like, the Psychic type doesn't really matter too much for this Pokemon. We're not even running a Psychic type move, but as you're gonna see here as well, we are gonna be able to go ahead and go for that Sunsteel Strike to win the battle. Next one coming in, we're going to encounter here a Ho-Oh in the lead, which is quite awkward for us. I swap out into the Dialga. We are going to try to go for the bait here for sure. As Awkward Tail is coming through, we're definitely going to get a shield because they need to align themselves. Like, that's the most important thing for them. Alignment is key. And so it was quite clear that they're going to use a shield, as we can try to go ahead and go for another one here as well, as we're going to be able to now swap back into our Necrozma where you can take a hit. And I maybe don't even want to use a shield. I'm not too sure. Like, kind of need to win this with Everluck, but I decided to use a shield onto that Draco Meteor. I can go for the full farm down. I can swap onto my Everluck. Everluck is going to be able to hopefully go for a Rock Slide here. But no, let's swap out into the Zacian, which is quite an awkward one. We see a little bit of lag coming in here again, as we can reach that Icy Wind, which is going to drop the opponent's attack. We're still not in the clear though, but we still have a kind of decent spot here. We can still try to go for another Icy Wind against them, get them a little bit lower. I can use a shield. It's very likely a close combat, and it is going to be a close combat. I still should be able to survive it because the opponent is double debuffed. It is a non-stab, and so we are going to be able to go for the full farm down here, try to get as much energy as possible, try to even get some energy here now against the Ho-Oh, going for only one fast move because I think an Incinerate would have knocked me out. But yeah, we are still in a great spot here. I should have maybe went for one more fast move and then went for the swap out. Maybe it would have changed something. I am not too sure, but they can now go for the knockout against me here. Let me actually see. If I would have got one extra fast move, would have that mattered? It would have not. So, good game there. Next opponent, second to last one for today. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you did, feel free to leave a like. Also, later on, there's going to be on the end card the video about the other Necrozma form. So if you want to see that video as well and see which one is better for yourself at least, then feel free to do that. Anyway, we're going to see here the Palkia again. Palkia is going to not enjoy the matchup as well. We are going to use a shield. Kind of awkward that we don't have Outrage. I kind of maybe want to take a look at Outrage again on this Pokemon. But as you're going to see, Dark Pulse is coming through. Dark Pulse is going to do quite some significant damage, I would say. And so we can swap out into our own one. This should be just an awkward tier as far as I see that. And so we're going to be in a great spot here to now fully farm them down as they go into their own Necrozma. So it kind of, like, Necrozma Palkia core seems to be something that you have to look out for because it seems like a very strong core to have in the current meta. And so, as we're going to see, we are going to be able to let the move go through. It's going to be just a Dark Pulse, and so we can survive and try to go for another awkward tail. This is going to be quite nice, as now we are going to be able to get the shield from the opponent. And let's see what we can do next. We're going to swap into our own one. They cannot fully farm me down, and I can knock them out. Now I have a shield advantage on my Everluck, and as they're going to have a Landorus in the back, spoiler alert, we're going to be able to win this battle. Moving on to the next one, we're going to have here the Tapu Bulu. Tapu Bulu is quite a decent one for us, but I was thinking at this point, there's one move that this Pokemon can learn, which might be quite a difficult one for us to deal with. And that move is called Mega Horn. Mega Horn is a bug type move, which is better than Shadow Ball. I think it does like 10 more damage or something. And after that Nature's Madness, it would actually be an interesting spicy move. And we actually see it, and it still doesn't knock us out, so that's kind of hilarious. But yeah, like I was wondering if they use a shield, if they had this move, and they did have this move. And I don't know if that's going to matter for them, because it's still going to be shield down, and they're still going to give me more energy here. And they still have a Kyogre there, and they still have a Necrozma here, which is going to lose no 2-to-1 shit scenario against Palkia, so yes, we're going to be able to win the battle. But still, funny one, and also I was not surprised about it, which is kind of even hilarious as well. I thought about the same idea as well as soon as I saw the Pokemon, but yeah, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. For them, at least, it's not going to work out for them. We can use another shield, and one Draco Meteor is all it takes to knock out that Kyogre. So we're going to be in a great spot here, as this is going to be able to knock out the first Pokemon. And now we can just go ahead and go for that Draco Meteor and win the battle. And this is going to be it for this video as well. Feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.